of micro, small, and medium enterprises to the economic development of Nigeria is to assess the contribution of the MSME sector, its challenges, and assess the level of government support and regulations. It always recommends ways of improving the sector for higher economic growth. Today on the program, we will be looking at the ways micro, small, and medium enterprises can be or have been useful in promoting economic development of our country, Nigeria. Thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Odije Ochi.
Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Keep watching NIPSS Policy TV.
If they should reduce the price of the cost of fuel, that's the major one. If they can reduce the cost of fuel to even 300, 350, at least the small medium scales can grow up. You understand? That's one. Number two, they should be able to give a loan, small loans for small medium scale. If not, they can't survive. Today you go to the market, you buy some things. Tomorrow you go to the market, another different price. So you see all those things affecting businesses.
30-something thousand, palm oil 30-something thousand, rice bag, Nigeria rice 40-something thousand. On stone on ma is about 80-something thousand. We don't know what is going on for Nigeria. Whether government is help us, whether or no help, we don't know. Please, make government try and help farmer so that the food and less is for us. And so now we dey very, very suffer. We cannot help our children. We cannot fit take our children to school.
The issue of a small-scale business is very important, and people need to be encouraged. Government can find a way of giving to, providing people with small, money. I think that one can encourage people. Any small-scale business, you can provide them with like 50,000, 100,000. It can go a long way. It can make the people to have something to do for themselves, because government cannot provide job for everybody.
I'm selling tomatoes in this Bukur market, Traders Association. Okay, all what I know, government are trying all their possible best in terms of health, economics, and other activities.
If you observe in markets now, there is no customers that do used to come and buy things from especially these shops, which is people are suffering and everyone wants to come to the market and buy things. But psychologically, if you observe, there is no money from people. So I think if I can advise government, let them do something that will make people have easy life, to be having something, getting something, coming to the market and buying food, feeding their family.
A very strong youth force, and they are not getting the complete empowerment that they get. I feel if the government can step into this situation, okay, from the uni level, they should scrape out an amount of people. Like there should be bigger institutions to empower, aside the normal go to school, learn the basic thing. I feel there's practical learning. Vocational. Yes, vocational, more of, they should introduce it into, because that's where the empowerment starts from. It's all from the education. It's all from the education that the empowerment starts from. So if at the secondary level, people are producing already, I don't think it will take us long. Everybody will live a comfortable life. It's not everybody that comes to the world to get luxury. Some people just want the basic, easy going, go to work. Yes, they are not lazy people. They just want something to do. But unfortunately, there's even nothing to do. Like if I didn't look out to start doing another business, and with the opportunity of the outside link we have, like I empowered myself, and through the family I came from, they were business oriented, so I had the opportunity to also learn and network with them first. If not, I don't know where I will be in my degree. Nobody wants to even employ you because you studied geography. Right? What do you have to offer to geography? How many people want to be checking the weather?
So far in Plateau State, really it has been hard all this while, because things have increased seriously. You go to market today, you see the price of things are different. Tomorrow, the same thing, foods are just in an increase. And mostly when you ask them, they will be telling you that it's the issue of fuel. So we are pleading to the government so that at least they will look at this issue. This thing is really affecting us. There are people that they go without food. Some go to bed without food because of this increase in prices of foods that we are facing.
Okay, now.
The advice I will give the government is that they should look into all these problems. Most of, like people like us, we finish school since, but there is no employment. There are many people on ground that they don't have what to do. They are just walking on the streets. So we are pleading to the government so that they will at least look for job opportunity for people, and they should help us and see to all these things that are happening. If they will look at all these things and help us due to the increase of this fuel issue and bring it down, at least it will reduce some of the things that are high.
Agriculture, and even these people just leaving school now. If government should create a platform whereby they can secure loan to start farming business, there's so much they can do.
Government need to put machinery in place to monitor all its policies, not only in terms of food security. All government policy must be monitored so that the beneficiary will benefit from those policies. If not so, there are people that are ready in whatsoever capacity to curtail government effort. And also coming back to Plateau State, the governor, the first 1 week he came into office, I saw him going to ASTC. That's an agricultural outfit that was put in place by the former governor of the state, David John Ajang. It is a partnership with the Israelites, whereby tractors, seedlings are being made available to farmers, and soil testing for better yield. I saw him going there. I really hailed him for doing that, because I know our people are farmers, agrarians, and by doing that, that will boost their effort into farming.
MSMEs are an important agent of economic growth as they provide more than 50% of GDP of developing nations. They are also a source of supply of human capital, source of innovation and technological development. They provide raw materials for bigger firms and are a main source of entrepreneurship and businesses. Each of these roles is vital to the economic growth and development of the country, and this is especially needed now, looking at current harsh economic realities. The question is, how much positive impact is evident from MSMEs? What are those government policies on MSMEs, and how well have they been implemented? We have an expert in these areas to give us answers. Let me welcome Dr. Steve Olusegun Ogidon, MNI. He is a self-motivated and hardworking development planner with experience in business development strategy, microfinance management, agriculture value chains research, as well as human resources development. He is a microfinance development trainer and strategist with core competence and experience in business strategy, value chain development, and rural development. In the course of gaining knowledge and experience, he has gone all over the world. I assure you, he has a very impressive and intimidating profile. So for want of time, I'll just stop here. Dr. Steve Ogidon, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, and thank you for having me.
Great. Now, what are the important roles of MSMEs in Nigeria, since attention has been focused on them?
Thank you very much once again. You see, micro, small, and medium enterprises have very important roles to play in the development of the economy of Nigeria. Number one, they created the largest number of jobs. When you look at the MSME sector, according to the MSME policy, Over 80% of the employment created by the private sector are created by the MSMEs. Only 20% are created by the big companies. So, and the capacity of the MSME to absorb people into an employment situation is higher than that of the big companies. Given that situation, it is very important to focus attention on the MSME because they also produce materials that fed into the activities of the large companies. Many of them are producers, they are household growers for the big companies, and they take the burden of sources of revenue generation for government. Many of them are paying taxes and they are growing their enterprises. And the kind of stability we have in the economy of Nigeria today, that it is because of the activities of the MSME. No country in Africa, all over the world, can do without focusing attention on the micro, small, and medium enterprises. And this is the importance of this sector.
Okay, now can you tell us what the challenges are facing MSMEs sector?
The MSME sectors are facing a lot of challenges. Number one is access to finance. The big commercial banks still prefer to give loans to the big banks instead of the small enterprises. Because the small enterprises don't have structured finances, they don't have bookkeeping capabilities, they don't have track record for them to be able to access credit from the former financial system. This is why the microfinance banks come in. The second one, a major challenge, is the challenge of climate change. Climate change, the capability of the enterprises to even have information about predictive technology, to know what is happening, to know what may happen that will affect their enterprises. Those ones are there. These challenges create a lot of problems for them. For example, you see in recent times, there have been a lot of activities relating to flooding across the country. MSMEs are generally affected. And they also have challenge of access to market. How do they get their products to the market? The critical infrastructures are not there. The roads are bad. You know what has happened with the fuel subsidy removal. And the critical infrastructures like the electricity is not there. And we don't have incubation center that could bring them together for government to be able to provide them electricity. Another major challenge is the simplified regulatory environment. One of my clients came to my business development clinic last week. She said she's been harassed by FIRS because of taxation. She said she has given all the papers she has to the tax authorities, but they are still insisting that she has to bring this receipt, and they are not recognizing the expenses incurred in doing business. The regulators that are supposed to be supporting the MSMEs to do good businesses, they are stifling business environment. Another major challenge is access to technology and innovation. Technology is changing every day. There's a need for us to create a platform for our MSMEs to have access to technology that will improve their business, to make them to be able to better have access to market, have access to credit, have access to packaging that will make their business will be able to enter good market. And finally, inclusive policies and targeted intervention. Government is doing a lot. Created opportunities, targeted credit facilities through microfinance bank, through the Central Bank of Nigeria. All those informations are not made available to the MSME. So they grapple in the dark and they struggle to make their enterprises very sustainable. This is why it is important for the subnational government to take responsibility. Federal government is too big. Federal government cannot go down into the world level to be building the capacity of the MSMEs to be able to assess the inclusive policies and targeted intervention. This is the job of the local government. This is the job of the state government, and they need to do it to be able to have an inclusive system that will be able to grow enterprises in Nigeria.
Okay, Dr. Ogidon, what are those support strategies Nigeria can use to improve MSMEs' performance?
Examples that happen in other climates where we work. A major support strategy that government can do is make it easy for them to be able to register their businesses. A business that is not registered does not exist officially in government. So they need to register, and the Corporate Affairs Commission is already doing something in this way. After the registration, the Federal Inland Revenue Service should be able to give them their TIN number with ease so that they will be recognized. I'll give you an example here. I was doing a training for the United Nations Development Program in Niger State. Because of the structure of UNDP governance, They said, okay, the cost of the training, they will pay me as a consultant, but the feeding of the participant for 3 weeks training, the cost of the feeding will be paid directly to the restaurant that will provide the food. I said, I have no problem with that. Meanwhile, anytime I go to Niger State for this training, I always get a restaurant caterer that will provide food for them. By the time I call the lady, bring your tax papers, bring your registration paper, let's submit to UNDP. She has no registration paper. She has no bank account. How can UNDP pay you without bank account? Incidentally, the person who got the contract has no restaurant. All she has was the registration paper, the tax paper, a bank account. And she got the contract and now outsourced the business again to the person who can do it. So we encourage MSME, register your business, have the tax identification number. As a corporate citizen, pay your taxes. When you do all those things, you will have good opportunities. All over the world, government support enterprises with accessible cheap loans to get their business to move to the next level. It is the responsibility of government. Our government is not doing enough. Microfinance banks are there. They are not getting support. When we were designing microfinance policy for Nigeria, our original plan was that government will give wholesale loans to this microfinance bank for them to be able to reach out to these small enterprises in rural areas. We embedded training into it. We embedded business development services. All those activities, the enterprises cannot pay for it. It is the job of the government to pay for it, and government is not doing it. Go to Europe, go to South Africa, go to Uganda. All those small economies, they create incubation centers where people with ideas become and actualize their experiences and then transform it into enterprises. The cost of electricity, the cost of water, the cost of security, all those things are taken away from the enterprises. We need incubation center in each of the local government area in Nigeria so that enterprises can do their business with ease. Right. Then we need to encourage them to have access to technology. Technology is expensive. Definitely. They cannot do it alone. That's true. Government needs to come in. Those are the support infrastructures that we need to support MSMEs.
All right. What is your assessment of the Nigerian government that's talking about the MSME policy? How would you assess the policy, Nigerian policy on MSMEs?
Nigerian government has been trying, but the largest room in the world is the room for improvement. I will take institutions that are there, for example, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency. SMEDAN has done a lot of studies. They have facilitated the revision of the MSME policy. The next level is actualization. Our challenge in the country has never been that of policy. It has been that of implementation. Government recognized the importance of MSMEs. Government recognized the policy focus and agenda setting and information dissemination. But how are we doing it? Go to the National Assembly. We work with many of the honorable members. They want to give empowerment to their communities. Instead for them to support MSMEs, they prefer to buy keke napep, they buy motorcycle, sewing machines to individuals who will go and sell it as they are getting out of the place. We need a system that will be able to organize these groups into cooperatives and they will be able to do better. And again, most of the time, all these interventions are coming at the federal level. We need to go to the grassroots. This is the responsibility of the local government. Last year, we were in Uganda, and at the local government level 1, the councillor was telling us that the empowerment of the local enterprises in the local communities is at the level of the local county governments, not the federal government. These are the areas we need to do. Government, we need to focus more. I never believe in palliative. Palliative means you are hungry, I give you food. I believe in empowerment. Empower the people to work their way out of poverty with dignity. People are not asking for too much. They need a space to do their business. They need a conducive business environment. They need access to electricity. Electricity is a major issue. The cost of energy is high. The cost of water is high. Everybody is a government to his own. You provide your water, you provide your electricity. And when we now come to even the food security, you discover a whole lot of challenges are there. When you produce, you cannot stop because there's no electricity. These are the challenges, these are the issues that we need to address.
All right, now, what should the government do in the efforts towards capacity building in entrepreneurship?
Good. Number 1, nobody can rise beyond the level of his capacity. We need a better curriculum to be able to improve the MSMEs capability. We need business development services. Our governments, from local government to state government to federal government, we have this attitude of throwing money at problems. Somebody is making us say, give him some money. Somebody said, I need help. You said, throw some money at him. Money will not solve all the problems, but capacity will solve the problem. What do we need to do? Better infrastructure, better curriculum to be able to train them. A common access to market is a major issue. People produce, they don't know where to sell. I can determine the success of your enterprise by your knowledge level of the business you are doing. I give you an example. Somebody came to me, I was saying that, oh, I want to start exporting ginger. Where do you export your ginger to? I said, she said, I want to export to China. I said, good, you already know the direction, but where do you buy your ginger from? He said, I'm buying from Niger State. I said, you have lost it. The headquarters of ginger in Nigeria is Kaduna State. So if you are shopping in the wrong market, you have missed it. So then I said, by the time you now buy your ginger, assuming you now get the right market, you buy your ginger, what do? He said, I just pack it. I said, you don't need to just pack it. You need to clean. You need to sort, because by the time you carry debris as 40% of the container, China will not collect it from you. You need quality assurance. You need certification. You need testing to be able to know this is the quality that the international market wants. So we need this capacity to be able to do. Not anybody. We need to unbundle these business enterprises. I cannot be the ginger farmer, ginger processor, ginger packager, ginger exporter. It is not possible. Our local farmers that are not educated don't have this capacity. Everybody must be able to identify where is your position on the value chain. If I want to produce, let me focus on primary production. I finish my production. Somebody comes and carry the ginger from the farm and you operate at the haulage level. Another person does the storage. Another person understands the market, understand the activities at the port. A poor farmer in Kaduna State does not understand the economics of the port. Even a typical Lagosian does not understand the economy of the port authority. We need people, importer and exporter, who know how to manage container, who know how to carry their goods, who knows how to do the packaging. Those are the kind of people that will manage the port authority. Identify the value chain where you want to operate. Identify what you want to do. Acquire knowledge to be able to get you to do it, have access to the market. Thank you.
Yes, actually, much earlier in our conversation, you said government is not doing enough. So what are your recommendations?
Number one, government should empower local government. We need a strong local governance. The local government has been destroyed. Whether we'll tell ourselves the truth or not, there are only two tiers now, state and the federal. And the state governments are too far from the people. We need to empower the local government to be able to take care of their people. How do they take care of the people? They know what they are producing in their locality. They know the volume they are producing. Then they will now need to create a handshake between the buyer and the producer. And then they will be able, the SMEDAN carried out an extensive study. The study was called One Local Government, One Product. The paper is on the shelf. There is no local government in this country that cannot produce something. We need to get them and say, this local government, this is what you can produce. Focus attention on it. Produce very well. Look, the local government should be able to empower them, create opportunity them for the market. The one experiment that was done in this is the lake rice. Kebbi is producing paddy rice. Lagos is consuming the rice, and Lagos is processing the rice, and they are producing in Kebbi, moving to Lagos to get it done. It is not the federal government that is creating that business relationship. It is the subnational government. We need more collaboration among the subnational government so that they will be able to do better, they'll be able to create employment and opportunities for their people.
All right, now let's talk about geographical spread of MSMEs. What would be your assessment?
MSMEs grow out of their communities. They grow out of the population that exists, and they supply the community. The dispersal of enterprises in Nigeria is following the population. Go to Kano. The largest grain market in West Africa is Dawano in Kano. The largest cloth market is in Lagos. So those enterprises, those communities, those local government must be able to support the enterprises in those localities so that they will be able to do better. It is not everybody that can do agricultural production. I have done a lot of extensive work in agricultural extension services. Lagos has no land for agri, but Lagos is consuming more food. So we must be able to identify which are the producing area, which are the consuming area, and how do we create a secure corridor for the food to move from the MSMEs in the producing area to the MSMEs in the consumption area. It is when we do all those things that we'll be able to know that, yes, we have really created opportunity. Go to what is happening in China. You will see the industrial area, you will see the agricultural area. Everybody knows what is doing. It's not a situation in Nigeria where everybody is doing the same thing in the same way and we keep getting the same result.
Yes, we've gone into agriculture now, and that's the area of food security. What are the challenges, aside from what you've already told us?
Nigeria is a major agricultural producer, but we are still food insecure. Why are we food insecure? According to the Food and Agricultural Organization, over 20 million Nigerians are food insecure in the year 2022. And we fail to come to terms with the reality of our challenges. The first major challenge of food insecurity in Nigeria is climate change. Lake Chad is drying up. Yes. Sahara Desert is cropping in. So climate change is real, and we are not still teaching our children enough about climate change, erratic rainfall pattern, drought, flood all over. They are having impact on food security. We need to consciously address it. Unfortunately, what we do in Nigeria is that we go and pray. Immediately the rain is over, we go and sleep. The second one is conflict and insecurity. Going to farm in Nigeria is not the problem. Coming back from farm is the problem. So people are paying bandits now to be able to access their farm. We need to secure the farm. We need to secure the farmland. And how do we secure the farmland? We must tell ourselves the truth. The number of policemen we have, they are not enough. The governor of Katsina State was on national television. He said there are 300 villages and communities in a particular local government in Katsina. That local government has only 50 policemen. How will 50 policemen secure 300 villages? So the innovative way the governor has done was to recruit additional 1,400 vigilantes, and the policemen are now training them to be able to secure their farmland. We must do enough. The farmers cannot protect themselves. And you see, let me give you an example. About 4 years ago, I was doing a study for the Food and Agricultural Organization about building inclusivity in Nigeria agriculture. We were interviewing farmers in the north and interviewing traders in the south. When I got to Mile 12 market, the leader of the Tomato Sellers Association told me that they got a loan from Dangote. And do you know what they did with the loan? They took the loan to Togo so that farmers in Togo will produce tomato for them to sell in Mile 12 market in Nigeria. Because the tomato belt in Benue State, in Kaduna State, in Yobe State, in Bauchi State has been taken over by the bandit. So they said it is cheaper for them to pay farmers, outsource the growing to farmers in Togo and Cotonou so that they will produce. And if you want to test it, when you go to Mile 12 market, tomatoes that are coming in basket are the tomatoes from northern Nigeria. The tomatoes that are coming in crates, wooded crates, those are the ones coming from Ghana, from Togo, from Benin Republic. So we have this challenge, conflict and insecurity. We must address it, and it is the responsibility of government. The governors have cried out. Do we need to mention the state? Niger State, we know the number of local governments under banditry, Benue and Kaduna State. Then poverty. Poverty is a major issue. When the farmers cannot be guaranteed that they will have enough food to eat, they will be forced to sell their goods when they don't need it, when they don't have to sell, because they really need money for survival. Then rapid population growth. Our population is growing. We need to change the orientation of farming. I was doing a project for the Angola government. It is on urban agriculture. Because the youth have come to the cities, they are not going back to the villages. We can do urban farming. You can do vertical farming. And all this thing has to do with training. We must be able to train our youth that you don't need to go and stay in the villages. You can use a small portion of land and do urban agriculture. And another one is poor infrastructure. Even when farmers produce, like in Kogi State, there is no road to bring the goods to the market. And we created a heat map where we see the differences. It takes an average in Kogi, an average of 4 hours for a farmer to get to the market. Not because of distance, but because of poor road. Okay. In Kaduna, it takes about 7 hours. In Kano, it takes about 8 hours. Some of them we have to pass through Jigawa to be able to access. You are coming from Kano to Kaduna State, you have to pass through Jigawa to be able to enter Plateau, to be able to now come to Kaduna, because some roads are unpassable. Kaduna-Abuja road is in God's hand. So we need to secure this road. and this infrastructure must be there. So the challenges of food insecurity has negative impacts on the economy, on the people. And when people are food insecure, forget any other thing.
Very correct. Now, as we round up this conversation, what would be your passing words to Nigerians?
We must invest in agriculture. We must improve our infrastructure. We must promote social safety net. And we must be able to diversify our agricultural commodities. We already have these diversified commodities. Government at federal and state level must be able to provide security. The local government must be able to create access to market, and they must invest in building their capacity of their farmers to be able to trade, to be able to do more, to be able to understand modern ways of doing business. Appropriate input, processing, packaging. We should not just be producing raw materials and be pushing them out. We must be able to add some element of production and improvement at the farm gate level. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Steve Ogidan, MNI. Let me not forget to add that. Thank you for your valuable contributions on the program. I hope you oblige us next time when we come calling.
Sure. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I've been talking with Dr. Steve Olusegun Ogidan, MNI, Development Planner, Business Development Strategist, Microfinance Manager, Trainer and Expert in Human Resources Development. Thank you very much for watching.
Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Keep watching NIPSS Policy TV.
The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, and the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPSS, are both federal government establishments placed under the presidency, and they both have had long-lasting relationship, given that the FRSC emanated from the National Institute. The Assistant Corps Marshal, Zonal Commanding Officer comprising Plateau, Benue, and Nasarawa State, Clement Oladile, paid a courtesy visit on the Director General, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, Professor Ayo Omotayo, on a familiarization visit after his redeployment to the FRSC headquarters, Zone RS4, as Zonal Commanding Officer. Zonal Commander Clement Oladile expressed his readiness to address challenges surrounding number plates and safety on the highways.
When I assume duties, we commence immediately how we can make roads to be safer in Plateau State, Benue State, and Nasarawa State that I currently superintend. And part of the quick wins was to quickly see how we can, because we see lots of vehicles on the highways, they do not have number plates. But for security operatives, the greatest fear you have is when you want to apprehend the vehicle that doesn't have a number plate. It's like when a policeman is trying to accost a criminal that he does not know. He does not know his name, he doesn't know anything about him. He's scared. Because if he runs away or he jumps bail, and that's why we want to most times detain them in his station to be sure that when it's time to take them to court, they'll be available. And the same thing also, when you see a vehicle that is committing a crime or is at the verge of committing one, and you cannot track the vehicle, and the easiest way to track such vehicles is to have their number plates. So we commence special operations to see that vehicles plying highways in these states, they have number plates.
In the area of capacity building, the zonal commander requested for short courses at the Institute for FRSC personnel.
I know that you're a training institution and we also like capacity building. I know they're expensive, but because of proximity to the institute, I will want you to let us just see how we can develop some short courses, even if it is 2 days, 5 days, 7 days courses for our personnel. We have a hall, they might come to our hall there, or we might bring them here to this place so that we can train them. We can work it out.
In his response, the DG NIPSS, Professor Ayo Motayo, encouraged the new zonal commanding officer to find lasting solution to the menace of road mishaps at specific locations in the zone.
This to forest, that 65 kilometers is held. And I think between us and the government, we can do something about it. I also want to suggest to road safety, because I believe you are an intellectual organization. I wanted to say when we started, I know when this course started, I was in UI and the work of those who started it was meant to actually get Nigerians to understand that everything about traffic, everything about road is actually an intellectual exercise. Beyond just the force of it, you have to think everything through. The DOS spoke about climate change. Road safety should be involved also in climate change matters.
Commitment to internationally benchmark standards when it comes to assessing the roadworthiness of vehicles in terms of the carbon emissions. Just yesterday I was driving to NIPSS and I was driving behind a car that looks very nice, but the emissions that were coming out of that car were terrible. And we know what all of this means. And we don't have enough regulation and enforcement of standards.
After fruitful deliberations, both parties look forward to future collaborations and partnerships towards national development. The DG NIPSS and his entourage paid a visit to the road safety headquarters in Abuja last year in June. Chana Ejoga, reporting for NIPSS Policy TV. Staff of the Industrial Training Fund, ITF, Area Office, Jos Plateau State, led by Dr. Kemi Abaye, head ITF Consultancy Services, paid a courtesy visit on the Director General, National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPSS, Professor Ayo Omotayo, to create an avenue for ITF and NIPSS to collaborate for result-oriented partnership to add value to various areas that border on national development in all sectors of the Nigerian economy. The DG NIPSS urged the ITF to intensify work in synergy with other agencies in order to identify gaps and needs for training.
NIPSS is not in the business of making people happy. We are seriously looking at how Nigeria can develop, and we are engaging with various sectors of the economy to know where their problems are and what NIPSS can do to help them get to where they need to get to, and it's part of the collaboration. We don't believe in telling people lies. We just want to see it as it is, and we're coming to bring these organizations to let us talk and stop working in silos. Why should somebody's function impairs the other one from growing? People that contribute to your organization requires that you meet with them periodically and identify to you their areas of need so that you can focus the training fund in those areas.
The ITF is charged with the responsibility of ensuring manpower development through its trainings.
The ITF helps in technical capacity building of employees across board in the areas of administration, management, safety, engineering, in all sectors of the Nigerian economy. But the problem we are having, sir, NECA are members on the ITF Governing Council. The ITF NECA program, ITF and NECA has come together to design and develop a training program called Technical Skills Development Program, TSDP, that trains artisans, that trains employees across the sectors. But sir, you will expect that the ITF is so rich now because of this 1%. The problem we have is that we have major defaulters. A lot of these companies are not paying, and the ones that will complain to you are the ones that are not compliant. Let me say that. The non-compliant contributing employers. When they are compliant and they follow the due processes, honestly, the ITF has a lot of programs that support the capacity building of employees.
A presentation was made to Professor Ayo Omotayo in recognition of his relentless efforts in ensuring development of technocrats.
And of course, implementation of initiatives and policies that takes Nigeria to the desired level. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
There were contributions from members of the management team of NIPSS.
We're going to bring everybody together. So those who are not paying, they will be there. Those who are paying will be there.
Very well.
So we're going to solve all these problems once and for all.
We have a studio. Just like I know we used to have a studio in those days, but I'm not sure they still run that studio now. But I'm saying that is an area in which we can collaborate. We have a studio here now. We can do all kinds of recordings for you. Of course, it will be at a fee. So I'm thinking that in the area of audiovisuals and all of that, we can also collaborate with the National Institute.
As the ITF team bid their farewells after a robust deliberation, they assured Nigerians of continuous reviews of its policies and activities to impact and contribute meaningfully to the Nigerian economy. Chana Ejoga, reporting for NIPSS Policy TV.
Leadership issues in Nigeria. This is the foremost institute for leadership, policy, strategic issues in Nigeria. And because of that, people have come in to share experiences. That's what we say. We don't believe that we are teaching anybody. We share experiences and see how those experiences can help each leader that is present here.
If I look at it from the point of challenges, I would say the caliber of people we have here should include some people at the middle level of management, to help, because most of the folks here are exiting the system. And what happens to those guys who are behind them?
Without missing words, I feel so great attending this program. One, I've learned the importance of teamwork. I've learned to have empathy to my subordinates. Somebody said, if nobody or one of your, none of them could come to you in a day, you are not done a good job. I've learned again, or let me emphasize, that position is very much transitional. You can't stay there for life.
Takeaway is that I should go home, back home, and strategize to form a strong synergy with all people working under me to speak with one voice.
My takeaway are very, very many, honestly. Time on the television will not be enough, because the knowledge I acquire here would definitely make me a complete changed person when I get back to my office. I now understand the pitfalls. I now know what to correct to make sure that I get the best result out of the people I work with, who are mostly, 100% of them are farmers anyway, and they are leaders.
I think I've learned so much. Also, before now, I'm a member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, Chartered. So the courses here are somehow related. So I've learned a lot about leadership, the leadership styles being used, the processes, and I came to understand that there's no one best way of leadership style. All leadership styles comes to wherever that suits you.
The workshop is ending today. I am Maria Timothy, reporting for NIPSS Policy TV.
Welcome back. Today I will discuss with Air Vice Marshal Uche Uwago, MNI. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Now, sir, you have been part of the National Institute and you are back to moderate some of the activities of the National Institute. Tell us, how has it been when you were here?
I was a participant back 2016, and it was an interesting ride as a member of the Senior Executive Course 38. A couple of years later, I came back as a directing staff, where I served in the Institute for 2 years. It's really interesting. Things have evolved over time. The ways of instruction then and now have changed, and I think that is one thing we have to really appreciate. Things evolve with time, and the Institute is equally moving in tandem with the evolution in time. The way instructions are given those days are definitely not the way they are done now, and the curriculum goes through constant development in tandem with prevalent situations, and the participants of today are much more, I would say, much more exposed. It's even translates into in the homes. The way you have kids of 10, 15 years ago are not the same kind of kids you're having now. Your kids now will be the ones to teach you if you're not ahead of them. So it equally becomes a challenge on the directing staff and faculty to ensure that they are over and above expectations by the participants. If not, they find themselves where they are running to meet a tag along with the participants who have actually come here to learn and appreciate some of this discourse.
Is there anything that you would wish they do differently?
Do differently with respect to the crisis game or
no,
the National Institute?
National Institute.
Well, the National Institute, being the policy think tank of government, requires more attention by government. I think government should be able to recognize the place the Institute plays and its responsibilities, and appreciate the outcomes from the Institute on a yearly basis. With that, a lot of attention has to be brought to the Institute by providing most of those learning needs of the Institute. Yes, the Institute could run on a budget, but then it has to be a friendly budget for the Institute. Yes, we know there are prevalent, there are lots of establishments, organizations and the like demanding for scarce resources. But again, government should realize that this is an institute that provides solutions to most of its policy challenges, and the dire need for it to be given ample attention. Once ample attention is given to the institute, where participants come in and find themselves in a situation, good learning environment where everything is provided for, I'm sure the outcomes from every course will be much better than what it is now.
Okay. So how has it been, because you've been coming and going, how has it also affected your work? Because I know you also have your office. How do you really cope with that situation?
Yes. After my tour of duty as a directing staff, I go back to my core functions in the headquarters Nigerian Air Force. But then, most on quite a regular basis, the Institute invites me either to deliver lectures, in this case here, control the crisis game exercise, and a number of things. I'm always excited coming back to NIPSS. I enjoy the learning environment and I enjoy the fact that people get to learn new things, and I could take credit for some of those things that they get to learn. It's been quite a challenge because it has a lot of interference with my work in the office, but I say for a place like NIPSS, I'm ready to sacrifice anything.
Now, I want to talk about people coming in. I know that the Institute has a limit of people that could come in every year, and you have a lot of people who, with the little experience they have, either by coming through short courses, would love to come. How would you want the institute to deal with that when it comes to PRA? Because you have a lot of people who really want to come and know about the policies, policy making, and how they could be part of, the changing factor of Nigeria.
Okay, like I rightly said, everything borders around funding. The institute restricts itself on the number of participants it takes for every course now because of the limited facilities on the ground. Remember, for every course, particularly the senior executive course, which is the flagship course of the National Institute, it is a course that is a resident course. Participants must live on the institute. And then there are a limited number of accommodation available. If you are going to increase the number of participants, that means you are going to build more accommodation, you are going to expand the auditorium size, you are going to create more study groups, and all these borders on finances. So the institute, I'm sure, would have been ready to accommodate more than they have now, but I think they are bound by facilities on the ground. If the facilities are improved upon, why not? You also have to get additional directing staff to serve on, and other members of faculty to be able to serve within the Directorate of Studies to impact on these people that are coming.
So what is your words to Nigeria out there?
Well, my words to Nigeria is take things that come out of the National Institute seriously, because this is where you gather the creme de la creme of Nigerians from diverse agencies, portfolios of government, and even the public and private sector. Brainstorm, travel far and wide, and come up with policy recommendations and implementation strategies, which if duly and truthfully, I really emphasize that, truthfully implemented, should be able to take Nigeria to where it wants to be tomorrow.
Thank you so much for
your
time.
Thank you very much.
This is the much we can take today. Do make it a date next time. Thank you. I am Chana Echoga.
Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Keep watching NIPSS Policy TV.
In closing, small and medium enterprises are very fundamental for the Nigerian economy. That sector deserves every attention from all stakeholders for enterprise promotion and economic growth. I am Lydia Odidiochi. Thank you for your attention and see you next time.